Hey guys, I wanted to separate the video because the first video was talking about pulling that number out to get benchmark numbers, but now we're talking about rounding to the nearest 10. So to round to the nearest 10, we start the same way. We've done everything that we needed to do. We've identified our benchmark numbers by pulling out the tens from the place value chart, which is 60. We counted by multiples of 10 and made it our second benchmark number 70, and our midpoint is 65. Okay? Now, how do we round to the nearest 10? Well, first of all, you need to make sure that what number are you rounding to, or what place value you're rounding to. So we're rounding to the 10s. So I want you to put in your note 10s, right under midpoint number 10s, so that we always remember what we're rounding to, okay? And remember, we already underlined the 6 and 67. So we have all these things to remind us that we're rounding to the 10s, okay? So now that we're rounding to the 10s, let's go back to our number line very quickly, okay? Because that number line is going to help us find the number that we're going to round to. So here I am in my number line. We've identified 60 and we've identified 70. Yeah, and we jumped by 10. And now our midpoint is 65. Okay? Just needed to grab my pen. And number is 65. For some reason, it's not allowing me to write, so we'll just have to follow along, okay? So we've jumped by 10s, as you can see here. Our midpoint is 65. So how do we know how to round 67 to the nearest 10? Just for purpose of writing on the screen, I'm going to draw this number line here, because I'm not having, technology is not being my friend this morning, but it's okay. So here's my number line, 60 and 70. I've identified my midpoint is 65. I jumped by 10. So now it's time to put 67 on the number chart. So let's put 67 on the number chart. I'm going to do my little dashes. 67 is right here. Very good. So now to find out whether 60 or 70 is 67 rounded to the nearest 10, we want to count how many jumps to the left and then how many jumps to the right. And whichever direction has the least amount of jumps, that's the benchmark number. That is your number rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, let me run that back. We're going to count how many jumps to the left, and then we'll count how many jumps to the right. And the number with the least amount of jumps is 67 rounded to the nearest 10. So let's do it. So here's 67. Now let's count our jumps to the left. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to the left is 7 jumps. Now let's count to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now to the right is 3. Which one has the least amount of jumps? To the right has the least amount of jumps. So 67 rounded to the nearest 10 is 70. Good job.